Today's gospel reflection is on the Gospel of Matthew, chapters 18 and 19, verses 21 to 1. Parable of the unforgiving servant. Today, Jesus is telling us about the comparison of the kingdom of heaven and settling accounts. Peter asks Jesus, "Should I forgive 7 times?" What Peter is referring to is that the number 7 equates to perfection for the Jewish people. And so it makes perfect sense for Peter to ask, should perfect forgiveness be given 7 times? Jesus rebukes Peter, saying, "Not 7, I tell you, but 77 times. So what feeling do we take away from the bad servant today? For me, it was one of anger. We are meant to feel the outrage we just heard about the corrupt servant, just like the other servant felt when they went and told the master what had just happened. And then the feeling of the anger by the master. The unforgiving servant that was forgiven his debts of 10,000 talents, which is about $3.5 billion in today's exchange, would not even forgive a friend just one time for a much lesser amount of 100 denarii, which is about $50 US. Doesn't seem fair, right? We can understand why they were angry at him, including the master. Regardless of the amount, it's hard for humans to remember to forgive someone 7 times. We might stop counting at about maybe 3, but it would be near impossible to remember forgiving someone 77 times. Even if we wrote it down, I would say after about 10 times of forgiving someone, we would ask, what is the use in counting? And that's the point that Jesus is making today. Regardless of the amount owed, mercy must start first. At the first forgiveness and continue onwards 77 times or even more. Jesus teaches us we must give mercy if we want to receive mercy. But we must also do it with compassion and love in our hearts. There's no use even counting even 1 time if we want to live in this earthly kingdom of heaven, because we must continue to offer mercy to each other. Today, brothers and sisters, we are reminded about forgiveness, mercy, and compassion, regardless of the amount we're owed. One of our early church fathers, Germaeus of Constantinople, said, "The church is the temple of God, a house of prayer. Its name is the bride of Christ," meaning each and every one of us are married to Jesus, since we are the church. How much easier is it then to forgive, to have compassion, and to have mercy when we see Christ in others? Mercy is just one of the many entry requirements we need to show if we want to make whole this earthly kingdom of heaven. And this is the coming of God that Jesus is showing us, explained in today in the Gospel of Matthew. I don't want to make it sound complex. I don't want to use big words. I want to make it perfectly clear as Jesus did today. Just forgive, not 7 times or 77 times, but every time. The birds have started to sing. the day breaks and the shadows flee away. No earthly heaven can come unless our hearts find rest in today. And live Jesus in our hearts as we pray at the foot of the cross.